We don't normally start off with this, but look at the bottom of the Premier League table. Luton currently sitting not in the relegation zone, 20 points, but they're right in amongst it. And these types of games, when they're playing Manchester United at home, of course, are cup finals for them. It's also a massive game for us. Oh, I've probably shown you a little bit of a spoiler of the team there, but predicted team anyway. But look, for us, Manchester United, there we are, 5 points off Villa after that fantastic win last Sunday, and Spurs only 6 points ahead of us. It's a big weekend. Spurs are playing Wolves at home. Villa are playing Fulham away. We will know both results by the time we play as well, which will add more necessity on a win. I mean, we need to win. If Villa or Spurs drop points, you need to take advantage of that. If they both win, we need to stay in touching distance, because there's no point going to Villa Park and winning there and then not going to Luton and win. But we must put respect on Luton. They were 1-0 up against Man City at half-time. They did ultimately lose the game. They got a draw against Liverpool. Liverpool had to equalise in stoppage time. They've beaten Newcastle there. They're a decent side, and they're going to be well up for this. I would say this is their biggest game of the season as well. Manchester United, we have that aura that when we roll into town, it's a big game. Even 10 years without a trophy, even 10 years without Sir Alex, we still have that pull of when we roll into town, teams want to beat us more than they want to beat Man City or Liverpool. We just have that aura. But there is a bit of a myth here as well. Yes, Luton's going to be a difficult game. Everyone keeps saying it. Luton's going to be a difficult game. They're a better team than you think. But there is a little bit of a myth, because when you look at their home record, they've got a worse record than most of the Premier League. They're third from bottom for their home record. Their away record's actually better. They're 16th in the league for away, but their home record, which everyone keeps telling us is really good, they're actually third from bottom. They've only got 3 points more at home than Sheffield United. They've won 3, drawn 2, and lost 7, conceding 20 goals and scoring 18 goals. Now, defensively, that's not too bad. In fact, Brentford have conceded more goals at home than Luton, and Manchester United have only conceded 2 less, with 18 to Luton's 20. I think the truth about Luton at home is they're not getting battered. You know, they're not. They're not like a fish going in the flour. They're not actually getting turned over by big scorelines at home. It's a difficult place to go and get a result. That's true. It's not a difficult place to go and win. You have to fight for it. And if you do win, you'll probably win 1-0, 2-1, something like that. You're not going to go and win 6-0, which is probably what some people might think. But their actual home record, they're third from bottom of the league. So we have got every right to expect to go and win that game, of course. But what's our away record like? Well, it's looking a lot better, actually, after those wins against Wolves and Villa. We're 5th in the league for our away record. 6 wins, 1 draw and 5 losses. And, you know, I've said that I've been a big advocate of this season. We've only drawn 2 games all season. And when you lose games, disappointing. But if you can remove the draws, it makes a big difference. We're not great at scoring goals. In fact, I think we've got the worst record certainly in the top 10. We've only scored 15 goals away from home this season in 12 games. Now, considering how many goals we scored against Wolves, which was 4, that just shows you how bad we are at scoring goals away from home. But we've only conceded 15 as well, which is the same as Man City away from home. So, look, that's all the stats about it. I think it's quite comforting to know that Luton aren't this amazing dominant force at home. They're hard to beat, there's no doubt about that. But we go there after 3 wins in a row. We've got Fulham at home next weekend. We've got Luton at home away this weekend. That's all the games done from February. We've played our hardest games in February. I would argue with anybody that Wolves and Villa away were the 2 difficult games. West Ham at home was probably the 3rd most difficult game, then Luton away, and I think Fulham at home you'd expect to win. So we've done the hard work. This is the consistency. This is what worries me more than anything, because we've played the harder games. Villa was the hardest game, then it was Wolves, and Luton's a tough game, and Fulham's a tough game because it's the Premier League, but they're only tough because it's the consistency. We can defeat ourselves. We are favourites in these next 2 games. Luton are not favourites. They might be difficult to beat at home, but they're not favourites. We are. And we're definitely favourites against Fulham. And if we win those 2 games, Ten Hag wins Manager of the Month, which has got to be a massive aim for this team and Ten Hag, because going into February, there's talk about new managers, there's talk about new owners, etc., etc. And if we can come out of February with 5 wins in a row, we're well in that top 4 race, as you can see. I think Villa play Spurs either at the end of February or at the start of March. So we put ourselves in a great position. But the scary thing for me going into this game, as I show you what I would have as the predicted lineup, the scary thing going into this game for me is very simply the consistency. We've seen it so many times where, you know, I always talk about the classic game at the Etihad where we're 2-0 up at half time. We're 2-0 down at half time. If Man City win that game, they're going to get presented the trophy on the pitch. They're desperate for it. They're hungry for it. They're going to do it. They're going to have the Premier League presented to them with Man United at their ground. And we come back from 2-0 down at half-time at the Etihad and we win 3-2. And then the very next game, we play West Brom at home, who are in a relegation battle, and we lose 1-0. And that's been United for the last 10 years. The consistency is the killer for Manchester United. So, yeah, I'm really happy with what the team has done against Villa and Wolves and West Ham. It's been really, really good. There's been a few blips. You know, Villa could have got a result last week. We got a late equaliser against Wolves because we messed it up, really, from a strong position. But we were very strong against West Ham, although they had their chances. So we've had to fight for what we've got in the last 3 games. But, God, we've got to fight on Sunday. I mean, that's the word, fight. I mean, looking at that lineup, I've got to say, it was very easy to go through the team and say, just pick the same team. But when I hit midfield, I did actually get the word McTominay in my head. And I did stutter for about 0.2 seconds before I clicked Mainu, because there is no choice. It has to be Mainu. But I did actually think, you know, Luton away, physical, hard-working side, Scott McTominay could be really important in a game like this. I mean, I don't think there's many games where you'd go, you want to start McTominay. There's probably a lot of games you might want to bring him on for the last 20 minutes, I agree, but there's not many where you'd probably want to start him. But I did think, you know, Luton, physicality, he's a threat that they might not have the nous to pick up. And I don't think many teams are very good at it, and I don't think Luton would be very good at picking up Scott McTominay's runs into the box. But the problem with that is I don't want to get overrun in the midfield and give a home crowd anything. In many ways, it's this. You go with the same team. I think Maguire's important in a game like this, by the way. I'm convinced he's going to score from a corner at some point because he's still winning them. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Maguire scored on Sunday. It's that sort of a game. I can't see it being 3 or 4-0 to United. I'd love it, but I think it will be tight and we're going to have to work really, really hard for it. But Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.